Hey guys, Heike here. And as you know, I pre-record all of my podcasts. And this one is no exception, but something really impactful has happened, namely the coronavirus, since I recorded this episode with Amanda Becker today. We are all impacted by this sudden and severe change in our lives. We are fearful. We are not sure who to listen to and what to do next. Many of us, including myself, we feel helpless. What is it that we can do to make this better? Listen to the CDC. Listen to scientists that show you the way of what to do and have proof that their approach is, at least at this point, slowing down the virus. And that we are washing our hands, coughing in our elbows, keeping everything sanitized. So listen to the people that know, not the people that make believe by stories that are not true. Believe that you can get through this. Believe that we are in this together. I'm here every week, guys. Every week. I'm showing up just for you, the current listeners and any future listeners, to help us through this, by sharing stories of women that are in the same path as we are. And they're going through their own stories in life that they're sharing. I'm sharing nutrition, fitness, and mindset strategies with you that will help you get through this. One thing is for sure, we can only control the things that are close to us, like your hygiene habits, how you eat, how you exercise. Let's look at this time in our lives, not as the snow day, the snow week off, where we can go and play, have fun, and meet our neighbors and shovel snow. This is the time where we need to stay away and need to stay confident. And one of the things that you need to pencil into your day is a schedule. Start your day with getting up at 7 o'clock, have breakfast, or if you're fasting, you're not doing a breakfast, but you have your breakfast at 8 o'clock. You're going for your workout, whatever your workout is, from 9 to 12. You're working. You have lunch for an hour. Then you have maybe a nap, if I may suggest one. I'm a big napper. And then you do your evening work and you stop at 5 o'clock to be done and not work for hours and hours. Be focused on what you're putting on your schedule. Stick to your schedule. So it doesn't become this, I'm sitting all day in my pajamas, never took a shower, and one day melts into the other. Have a plan. Look at your projects that you're working on right now and focus on how you can make those awesome. How you can be ahead of the curve, how you can be really progressive towards your work goals and your life goals. Like, we're cooking amazing meals right now, and since my husband is also working from home, he's cooking again. This is kind of awesome and a little change in our life. So we're controlling our home, our little nest, and we're reaching out virtually to our friends. I reach out to you. I'm very active on Instagram and on Facebook, so reach out to me there, talk to me, email me at Heike Yates, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with anything you need, and I'm here. And remember, we are in this together. We're helping each other out with the things we know and the things we do. And so please enjoy my interview with Amanda Becker. here, and welcome to another episode of the Pursue Your Spark podcast. If you're not subscribed to the Apple Podcast right now, hit the stop button and subscribe right this moment. And while you're there, leave a review. Also, before we dive into today's episode, make sure you get on the wait list for the next round of the 4-week Lean Out program. We're starting soon again, and spaces are limited to learn about intermittent fasting, a healthy lifestyle in midlife, how to eat right for your body type, and how to count your macros so you see the success in your workout and in your fitness program. I leave a link in the show notes so you can take a look at the 4-week Lean Out program and see if this is something that is right for you. Today's guest is literally like a little leprechaun. She found the gold pot at the end of the rainbow. This girl has changed from working in pharma, stressed, unhappy, to a skincare consultant with happiness and plenty of time for her family and friends. Please enjoy my interview with Amanda Becker. Hi there, you're listening to the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I'm your host and midlife warrior, Heike Yates. And on this show, we're talking about fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies for women in midlife. Plus, our fierce guests on the show share their stories to help you reclaim your power to spark an authentic life. Today's guest is Amanda Becker. She's a Roden and Fields skincare consultant. She changed her life from being stressed, tired, and overwhelmed to a life full of self-care, happiness, and a successful career that left plenty of time for her family and friends. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk to you.
It is so amazing because you and I were at the same conference unbeknownst to us.
Yes. The Rise Business Conference. That's correct, in Charleston back in November. And that was Rachel Hollis conference. And we were both there, but we didn't know it until after.
I mean, there were 6,000 people there.
Yeah.
So, and we are also living relatively close to each other. So it's like, hey, and you started this Facebook group for Rise attendees to network afterwards.
Right. People within the area, so we can kind of keep that amazing charged feeling that we had after the conference, kind of keep it going and check in with each other a little bit to see how our progress was going, how things have changed since the conference. And just to stay connected.
Yeah, and I wanted to have you on the show because I think you are a great example for women that are in a life that they don't necessarily are happy with anymore, and they want to change things and how it can be done successfully and living the life that you want to as you get older and not feeling stuck. So that our listeners get to know you. Tell us, who are you? Where do you grow up? Who is that Amanda girl?
That's a great question. So I'm a mom of 2 girls. Their ages of 6 and 3. They're amazing, high energy. I have a gorgeous husband. I live in Maryland. I'm in my mid-40s, and for right now, am finishing up a corporate job and switching out into my full-time skincare business with Roden and Fields.
Okay. How did you meet your husband?
Oh gosh, this is amazing. I feel like I should turn it into a movie. So basically back in 2003, I was working at Georgetown University in DC, Washington, DC. And it's right across the street from the French embassy. And my professor that I was working for had a membership there. So we would go to lunch about once a month or so. I mean, who can resist good French food and French boys?
Oh, you could go over and have lunch at the embassy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so every time I go there, I would see him, and it would be like, we would both stop in our tracks and sort of stare at each other from across the way. And everyone around us would be like, what is going on between these two? But we never spoke. And it happened every month for like over a year. It was insane until basically finally we were, let's see, we were both in the cafe, and I was at a high top table standing, and he was with his friends, and he exited through the door behind me. It was a swinging door, and in the door was a little window, basically, so when you open the door, you know you're not going to smack into anybody.
Yeah.
He went through that, but then he stopped, and he just looked through that little window and watched me.
That's kind of creepy.
I know. And so my friend was like, he's there. I'm like, I know. She's like, go talk to him. I'm like, So she literally wrote my name on a paper napkin. She shoved it in my hand, and she like threw me through the door. And so I go flying through there. And he was like, hello, in his little sweet accent.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's your name? Where do you work? And he's like, God, I think we should go out sometime. And I was like, absolutely. He's like, well, can I have your number? And so I opened my hand, and it's like this scrunched up paper napkin. It's like, thank you. I'll go get my business card. I'll be right back. Yeah. And so that's the story. And, he called me the next day. We went on a date, and it was just glorious. It was amazing. Yeah. And I was just so afraid to meet him, because after you like blow up the image of this guy in your head for a year, you're like, oh, he's going to be a womanizer or something.
Yeah.
But he wound up being just this amazing soul, and we just got along so well. We dated for quite some time, and then actually not that much time. And then he had to go back to France.
Oh, he was repositioned or moved back to his country because his term was up.
Exactly. And so he's like, why don't you come with me?
Whoa, I love it. This is like pour on romance.
Yeah, I know. And so I was like, absolutely. I literally sold all of my things. I moved to Paris with 2 suitcases. And boy, it was tough because I couldn't speak French. I definitely learned it. His family is so fantastic. They're so loving. His mom helped me learn French. I wasn't like pursuing a career because I didn't have a work permit, and I didn't really speak really French that well in the beginning. So I did a lot of things with kids, and it was a great experience. It was great. We were there for 3 years, and we got married about halfway through it there in Paris. And yeah, that's amazing. And then we just moved back and started a life here in the US.
Did he go back to the embassy here or?
No, so we came back and just got like normal jobs. Yeah.
Wow, this is really like romance novel written all over this, Amanda.
I know. It is really sweet. It was tough though. I mean, like everything good is going to be tough, but there is so much amazing romance in it as well. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear stories like this. This is unusual.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. It's like Sex in the City, but it actually worked out.
Like in the city with a French accent. Now, you have a job or had a job in pharma. Tell me more about that, so the listeners know where you initially started your career and
Right.
what drew you to work in pharma.
So I had a bachelor, or I have a bachelor in science, and so I had worked. When I was working at Georgetown, I was doing Alzheimer's research, and I had several other jobs as well in science. And so when we moved back to the U.S., I was looking for jobs, and was offered a position in pharma. And so that was back in 2008. And so I started that, yeah. And I did really well, quite well. We didn't have any kids at the time. I worked my butt off, and he had a job obviously here too. And then we had kids, and and we bought the house, and my career was kind of really doing well, and I kept moving forward and getting new adventures. And then all of a sudden, when you've just got a full plate and 2 kids and a crazy career And little by little, you don't know that like you're losing yourself step little bit by bit, little bit by little bit.
What did life look like back then for you? Describe it.
Sure. So pharma is a global job. So we have, you know, we're in a lot of different countries, and a lot of the calls can be 6 in the morning or at 9 at night. My morning would start really early, get ready, get the kids to school or daycare, rush in. And my days at work were typically meeting after meeting, back to back to back to back, double booked, triple booked, and then also receiving like 200 to 400 emails a day, as well as my work itself. So when you're in meetings all day, you can't just be on your computer responding to emails. So it was just
Mhm.
so much. And it felt very important. Like if you drop the ball, it's just very stressful, I think. And so I would come home, get the kids, make dinner, put them to bed, and then work more, and then go to sleep at like midnight or something. So that's what my life looked like literally every single day of the week. Yeah, except for the weekends. The weekends are like, okay, now we got to clean the house. Now we got to go shopping for food and do all the errands. And so there wasn't much room for fun. Um, yeah, just working my butt off.
Because that sounds like such a change from being in love and Paris to
Yeah,
the nightmare of working in stress.
yeah, yes. And then I got my graduate degree too. I got a master's in biotech before kids. So that's when everything started too. During that time, it's just like constant work, constant work, constant work.
So,
Yeah.
so then as you kept going, what happened along the way? Did something change that made you wake up, or what happened?
Yeah. I mean, so I would say about 2.5 years ago, it's that question, okay, if I keep doing what I'm doing, because I was really stressed, definitely stressed, very, very stressed, and gaining weight. And because I wasn't exercising, I didn't have enough time to think about what I was putting in my mouth, right? Sometimes I wouldn't even have time to go to the bathroom. Honestly, like you're just rushing from meeting to meeting to meeting.
Hmm.
Um, and so I asked myself, if I keep doing exactly what I'm doing in 10 years, what will my life look like? And because I had been at that job now for 10 years, right? And
Okay.
so now, I was like, okay, I've been here for 10 years doing this. If I keep doing the same exact thing for another 10, what is my life going to look like? And I seriously wanted to like throw up. Like, I mean, blood pressure medication, definitely stressed more than I could think, and not connecting with my husband as much as I wished, not building the friend network that I promised I would do every single New Year's resolution, but never did.
Huh.
And having kids now 10 years older and needing their mom. And it just, for me, it was like something has to change, but I didn't have any way to change it. Um, and
Did
so,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
it's right around that time is when one day in the summer at the pool, I was with my daughters, and my older one was doing swim practice. Um, and there was a girl next to me on her phone, or, with her kid. And I had seen her a couple times, but one day we started talking, and she was so down to earth. I like loved her energy. And we got to the conversation of, what do you do for a living? And I told her what I did. And then she's like, yeah, I work from my phone. And I was like, what? What do you mean you work from your phone? She's like, I'm working right now. I'm like, well, okay, next to the pool, on the side of the pool. That's pretty cool. And so she basically explained to me that she was in the skincare business with Rodan Fields. And she's like, have you heard of it? And I had not, which is crazy because they're the number one skincare in all of North America. So that's kind of, yeah, I was in a hole.
Well, you were in a different part of the industry, so
Yeah,
it's easy just to not see things because with your lifestyle, you're just going 24/7. Who has time to look for anything?
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly correct. And she's like, I'd love to tell you more about it. It's really fun. She's like, do you like skincare? And I was like, I lived in France for 3 years. So of course I love skincare. I mean, like, um, I was really loyal to French brands, in fact, so even
Uh-huh.
snobby about it. So I was like, sure, I'd love to learn more, but in my back of my mind, I was kind of like, oh, I'm good, too good for that or something.
Mhm.
But ultimately, like, I went over to her house and she brought out some stuff and I used it in her bathroom and I fell in love with one of the things. So microdermabrasion paste, like a sugar salt scrub. Oh
Okay.
my gosh, it made my face like a baby's butt. Like, seriously.
You have beautiful skin, Amanda. I have to say
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It used to not be like this. Like, I used to have a couple acne scars. I had larger pores. I had wrinkles starting on the forehead and around the eyes. And so I owe it all to this stuff that really, really works. But anyway, she's like, let me tell you about the business. And you know, it's two female dermatologists, which I loved. They're the founders of Proactive back in the day. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. They were very big back then for the acne
yeah, yeah,
groups.
it's like a multi-billion-dollar brand, global. They sold it off, but they kept practicing dermatology, and noticing that adults kind of had the same four skincare concerns, like anti-aging, obviously, reversing sun damage, sensitivity, and then adult acne. And so they built a regimen based on those four skincare concerns. And it's the same premise as Proactive, where it's a multi-step, multi-med approach. And I was kind of intrigued by that. And so, she's like, here's all, she showed me her website and she showed me all the products. And she's like, why don't you just join me in business? Here's all the kits. And she showed me the kits that you can basically buy a kit of product so that you can start using it yourself. And
Yeah.
it basically makes you a consultant. And there's different like levels that you can buy in, like $45 all the way up to 1,000.
Okay.
Um, and I'm thinking, okay, I use this. This is silly and it's kind of shameful, but I had been using this one French product. It's a serum, a tiny bottle of serum, and it was like $180, and
Whoa.
it wasn't even really working. And so I was like, sure, I'll buy into this. Like, I'll get all this product. I'll have something fun to do. And it was a total whim. It was it wasn't like, yes, this business is going to take off and I'm going to change my life. It was literally, I love skincare. This girl is really cool. I want to be her friend. And I'm just going to do it on a whim. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you took that on just to make yourself to feel beautiful and you liked the product, but
Yeah.
you still were working in pharma. Did
Yes.
you take time off to think about this, or what happened? And I know you told me in the summer of 2017 you took family medical leave.
Well, that's later on. That's
That's
two
later.
years later.
This is
Yeah.
later. Okay.
So what, so in 2017 is when I joined Rodan and Fields, became a consultant and started using the product. Oh, wow. Reverse. Oh my God. It took all of my sunspots away, all the texture problems. My pores were small. My face was like glowing. I was like, holy cow, I need to tell everyone about this because it is legitimately working. Nothing else I've ever used actually worked. And so I was really excited about it. Whereas before, remember when I joined, it was kind of like a whim.
Yes.
So I started talking about it and people were really interested. I'd have a party and have people over and we would have facials together and it was just fun. I love people. I love having parties. It, so that's how I started it. Not everyone does it their own way, but that's what I did. And boy, did I meet so many amazing people like through our team in Rodan and Fields, and they're all my best friends now. I have built an amazing friend network. I mean, now I'm looking back and all those New Year's resolutions of building a friend network, I never did, and now I have one. And then also making time for myself. Looking back, I never exercised. I didn't have time for friends. I didn't have the energy. But all of a sudden now I've got this business. I like doing it. And so I'm making time for it. And now it's a regular thing. I see my friends all the time. I talk to them on the phone every day. Um,
So what did your husband think about that?
At first he thought I was crazy.
I can think it's like, oh, you got another this really awesome job where you get paid big bucks and you want to do what?
Exactly. And so, yeah, he thought I was completely crazy. But he knows I like skincare. So he would just go along with it. And he's very supportive with the children, our kids, our girls. So if I, want to have a party, or if I'm going to maybe I'll have an event at a restaurant or something, he'll definitely pitch in and help with the girls. So he ultimately wants me to be happy, and he can see that it like sparked me up again in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you make the change from where you came from in pharma to where you are now?
Yes. So along with the business is a ton of personal development that's available to you. And I dove right into it. So I consistently took advantage of all those trainings that we get. And it's a lot of personal development, because no matter what you're doing in life, ultimately you have to be strong personally, and in good personal space in order to be wicked successful. And so they base their whole entire company, on growing yourself.
Oh,
Um,
that's amazing. I like that a lot.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's just the premise of itself of like working together with amazing women and making each other better is like, it's beautiful. So I did a ton of personal development. I got involved. They introduced me to Rachel Hollis. That's how I learned about it, actually, through Rodan Fields. So Rachel Hollis, and she's amazing. Reading her books and listening to her podcast, and eventually going to Rise Business, right?
Which was
Um,
amazing.
which is how I met you. Yeah.
But
So
it is fun to meet people I mean, there were so many diverse professions in there
I
that
know.
I said at one point, I sat next to a plumber. I'm like, what is a plumber doing here? And he's
That's
like, well, I have a business. And I'm like, yeah, they're all here for business development and self growth. I really like that.
I know. Wow, that is amazing. Oh, and I love that some couples were there, like some wives and husbands were there together.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that is amazing.
So Rise was part of your growth as well. And then,
It
of
was.
course,
I mean, so
go
so
ahead.
I got to the point where I was saying, what do I really want my life to look like? And that whole 10-year question again is popping up. And um, I can see the opportunities that Rodan Fields has. And then, we're going global. We're in 3 countries and about to be in Japan, in a new country every year or so with new products. And it lifts me up and makes me have more energy, where my other job is exhausting me, and
Yeah.
taking everything out of me. And it's stable, right? And so I think that's why it's comfortable. It's also the norm. And so I kept on asking myself questions of, what do I really, really want my life to look like? Because I need to start making changes if I want something to change. Um, and so ultimately I said, I want to get out of pharma. I want to get out of pharma. And it was a hard decision, because it's, like I said, it's scary. It's consistent work. But I did a lot of soul searching. I did a lot of my dad has passed, and I did a lot of talking to him. Dad, what should I do? What should I do? Should I put all my focus into my business, or should I just kind of, do both like I'm doing? But that's hard. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do both with kids. I mean, some people can do it, but the passion and the amount of that I've been doing Rodan Fields is hard. Some people do it, 5 hours a week, and that's perfect for them. But me, I love it, and I'm like, let's go.
Yes, you are that kind of person. It's like,
Yeah, and so I'm like, Dad, help me. Like, what should I do? What should I do? And I literally asked my dad every day for 2 months straight, just help me decide which, should I just really focus on RNF? And I had a dream one morning, and he was in it, and my older 6-year-old was in it, and he talked to me, and he put his hand on my heart, and he's like, Amanda, you know exactly what to do. You already know. You You do what makes you happy, and it's that simple.
Wow.
And I woke up and I started bawling, crying. And then my 6-year-old walks right into my room, like on cue. I was like, oh, the universe is speaking to me.
That's for sure. I would definitely take this as a sign.
Yeah. But I was bawling, crying because I honestly felt, yes, that is the answer.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Why am I making this so complicated? Like, I have trust and faith in myself. I am confident. I have intuition. I'm fascinated with this life, and I'm a positive person. Why aren't I doing the things that make me happy? Why? So from that moment on, oh boy, my team grew with Rodan Fields. It was this whole mental mind shift of like just everything started laying in place. Um, and I made it to myself that I'm going to quit. Like when I'm ready, I'm going to quit. Like when the time is perfect, I'm whatever, right? I'm going to quit the job.
Yes.
And so let's see, it was June 2019. So that was just like what, 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
Not to get into too many details, but basically something happened in my family that I needed to tend to. And so I was able to take medical leave to take care of my family for the summer. So I had like a couple months off to deal with that and to really work some things out. And then during that time when I was not working pharma, oh boy, I was so happy. The whole house felt better, less stress. I was making better meals. I was going to the gym every day. I started losing weight, and it just felt like, wow, this is a taste of what it would be like. This is amazing. My husband and I, wow, we got really connected again. And you know how that's amazing. So that was good.
Well, and it's true. They're sometimes neglected and put by the side when we're so busy. And once you reconnect, it's a whole different ballgame. And remember why you actually married that person in the first place.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then this is this funny thing. It's so ironic. So, big corporate America, especially pharma, reorganizes all the time. And they did a big reorg while I was out. So when I returned to work, I had a different department with a different boss. And I all of a sudden was expected to travel 50% of the time
That's a lot.
with 2 small children. No way. And I'm talking all over the world. I'm not talking just to like, Virginia or like New York or something, like all over Japan. So I was like, well, that's not going to happen. And so I was looking at different roles within the organization and ultimately decided, hey, wait a second. This is another huge universe clue. Like, this is the time.
Yeah.
This is the time. And then right after that, a couple of weeks later, I went to Rise Business.
Yes.
And my purpose in life was like whoosh, right in front of me. And everything was clear. And as soon as I was going to finish the year out with pharma, and I was going to quit in January. So that's what I did. Yes.
So this, like, we're recording this in what are we? What, February? Right? No, we are in February. So you quit a few months ago.
Yeah, I quit, and back a couple weeks ago. After working out things with HR, and my official last day is the 12th of February. So I'm officially still in it, but I'm working from home and I don't have any extra projects to do. So I'm basically like on call, you know? Yeah. And I mean, HR even knows that. I told them I have nothing to do. So like, just, and I don't intend to find another position. I obviously can't travel with the current one. So I'm quitting. And they're like, okay, absolutely. We understand. And I just honestly, it's amazing. Excuse me. It's the best decision so far. I already feel just like amazing. The lightness of my body, you know what I mean? And the shoulders. It just, Oh my God, thank God.
My next question was going to be, what does your life look like right now? But we just got a glimpse into that.
Oh, it's, yes. So I can get the kids ready in the morning very calmly. We don't rush out the door anymore. And um, I'm able to have my gratitude journal in the morning, which I never did before. I write out my day and like my planner, and I'm doing coaching actually with Brendan Bouchard, who was one of the speakers at the Rise Business Conference.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
amazing.
like a high performance coaching. So it's actually one-on-one coaching, and it is extraordinary. I'm in week 7, I think, kicking my butt, but really, really impactful. Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
that's, I think, a good venue for you to go, and as far as developing yourself and developing your business with Brandon.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That is
So
amazing. Amanda, can you believe that this is how your life changed?
no, I'm so thankful. And so many other opportunities are lining up right now in different ways that have ever before. Um, and that to me just feel like a blessing, such a blessing. And the more I feel like connected to the day and charged, the better it's just getting. And it's not like, okay, so my business is where it is, as it's doing well. It's not where it needs to be. Um, but when you live the life that makes you super happy, it almost doesn't matter, because you're so content. It's like, how, I don't know if you had this experience. I pray that people have this experience, but when you're a young child, like a young girl, and you have this idea to build, I don't know, a tree house, and you get your friends and you just run out and you just build it, and you paint it and you decorate it, and you just are so into it, and nothing else is around, and it's just creative and flowing and charged, right?
Yeah.
That's, I'm getting glimpses of that girl, and I'm getting more and more glimpses of that girl every day, where I may go through like an hour of my day where I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this. And it's flowing. And I know I sound really, really like giddy right now, but that's how I feel inside. Just, I'm so incredibly grateful and excited and hopeful and present. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a profession that I love since I started it 30 years ago in fitness. And I keep changing angles and adding my podcast and creating Pursue Your Spark. So it's like, changing what you do but I love what I do, and it makes me happy. And I can work on it all the time if you let me.
Yeah. Yeah. I wake up and I'm like, yay, I get to do this
Yep.
today.
That is
I've been
very,
so excited to talk to you, by the way. This is kind of one of those things where I know I just need to share my story. I know there's people out there that exactly where I've been in every single stage.
yeah. What
And
what
yeah,
advice would you give anyone who would resonate with your story, what they should do,
yeah,
how they should approach this?
yes. I think first of all, we have to recognize that wherever you are, it's okay. Like, looking back when I didn't make any time for myself, and I was gaining weight and I was stressed and I was working a lot. Um, it's okay. It's okay to be there. I mean, especially I think for women who have full-time careers and children, how can you do that all? You can't. You can't have it all at the same time. I mean, you can have it all, but it has to be at different times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and so I think, I think it also depends on how much energy that they have and where they are in feeling stuck or unhappy. Because I think that, or your personality type, some people may be able to be like, okay, I'm changing it, boom, right now, and make a big leap of faith. Um, and other people may be like, I just need to doodle for 20 minutes a day just to find a little, fun and joy and um, gratitude. I think that's huge. And I used to think it was kind of like, whatever, why is that going to change anything? But it does. Because if you know that you have to write down 5 to 10 things a day that you're grateful for, then you're going to spend some of that day looking for them. And when you're looking for things that you're thankful for, there's no other space for, the bad.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful. And to be honest with you, find women around you and surround yourself with women who you want to be more like.
That's always good advice. I find this is so inspiring when you have a
Yeah.
community that is supporting your goals rather than tearing you down.
Yes. I
And
mean, we're here to lift each other up.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. It's like, I don't know, Abby Wambach from the soccer team wrote a book called Wolfpack. It's a
Okay,
really it's a really quick read. It's like, I think I listened to the audio in like an hour. But she talks about the Wolfpack being like your group of girls, the group of women who are there for each other and constantly supporting each other, and they are a force, right? And it's like I can't remember what was it, Yosemite Park or something, but there was some part that she was talking about where the wolves had no longer been in that area, and the whole area was starting to deteriorate. Like animals were becoming extinct, plants were going away, even the waterways were changing. And it was like a dying whatever. And so what they did is they made a bold move and put the wolf pack back in, and almost immediately things started changing, and now it's like back to where it used to be.
Yeah,
um, and it's just like when you see things slowly changing in your life and it's not a good way, bring back your wolf pack, get that wolf pack in there, and find the women that lift you up and support you and defend you, because that's how we're going to win
yeah,
together.
yeah,
um you know
yeah,
so I don't know, I feel so passionate about the women in my life right now. I can't imagine like just where I would be without them. I wouldn't be here at all.
yeah.
So
So Amanda, this is such a fantastic, inspiring, and uplifting story. And I'm so glad you came on the show to share your story with my listeners. But how can people reach out and find more out about you?
sure. You can always reach me through email, or by social. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I am very active within networking, and I love getting together with women and figuring out how we can support one another. Whether it be, hey, you want to join my team? Absolutely. Let's go rock this together. And hand in hand, we're going to kick butt. Or, hey, I've got this thing going on and I just want to talk to you about it. And I think there's a way we can collaborate. I do a lot of collaborations with people from all over different business areas.
So is your handle Amanda Becker or
Yeah, Amanda G. Becker.
Amanda G. Becker on Facebook, Instagram, the
Yes.
same?
Instagram is Amanda G. Becker.
Okay. Email?
Amanda G. Becker at Gmail.
Okay. Website?
That would be amandabecker.myrnf.com.
Any other social media handles?
And Facebook is just Amanda Becker. So there's no G in that one.
Because we want to put all these links that you mentioned today in the show notes, so people, when they listen to the episode, they go, oh, she's on Facebook. Oh, I just click the link here and I can talk to Amanda. Or, oh, here's an email so I can reach out. So it makes it easier for our listeners to get a hold of you and find out more about you. And again, I want to say thank you for sharing your passion and your success with our listeners. It was a lot of fun, Amanda.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And I wish you and your listeners all the happiness and joy that can be. Thank you.
Thank you. So what do you think? Are you ready to find your own gold pot? I hope you found this interview inspiring and motivating for you to take action. If you're not exactly where you want to be in your life, it's never too late to change. And please reach out to Amanda on Facebook or Instagram, or to my Instagram account at Heike Yates, and Pursue Your Spark podcast. And let us know what you thought about today's episode. And if you had any questions or like to know more about Amanda and what she does. So with that, my friends, have an awesome day and thanks for being here. See you next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Ciao.